If you were to step out into, well, Barnsley town centre, and you were to go up to your random average Barnsleyite and you were to ask them, what do you think about Dan Jarvis's performance as mayor for, South Yorkshire? What do you think? What over these past 4 years? What do you think he's done? What do you think he's achieved? And I'm not going to lie, probably a lot of them wouldn't be able to respond because certainly sort of the mayoral of South Yorkshire has had a lot less powers and abilities. And of course, unfortunately, that has been partly down to because the Conservatives haven't pushed for more devolution in and around the area. Not surprising, of course, but we are seeing, of course, other mayors appear here in, West Yorkshire. There's one for North Yorkshire potentially. But if you were to ask city regional mayors, the two people could probably name, probably Sadiq Khan for London and Andy Burnham, mayor of sort of Greater Manchester and sort of the Manchester City region. So other than that, those are probably the two. Dan Jarvis wouldn't be probably your first bet. In fact, I'd probably be surprised if you could probably find someone in the South Yorkshire area to say what Dan Jarvis's achievements have actually been. But let's be fair. Let's be really, really fair. Dan Jarvis has actually achieved quite a lot during his time as Sheffield City Region Mayor. And that's why I do want to sort of say, Dan, I agree with you on some stuff. I disagree with you on other stuff. But hey, that's politics. You're never, ever going to get a politician or an MP where you agree with them 100% of the time. But before we go diving into Dan Jarvis's thoughts on his, shall we say, term as South Yorkshire's mayor, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for all the people who do help support the channel that way. So on with this. This comes from the Labour list with the title of My Reflections on the Last 4 Years as the Outgoing Mayor of South Yorkshire. And of course, written by Dan Jarvis. On Thursday, the 5th of May, local elections take place across the country. Again, something we're all preparing for. And this year will be very bittersweet for me as my team, as the Labour and Co-op Mayor of South Yorkshire, for South Yorkshire draws to a close. Oh dear. I look back on the last 4 years, and despite the challenges of austerity, Brexit, the flooding, and of course COVID, we have made real progress towards building a stronger, fairer, and greener South Yorkshire. And I want to reflect on what has been achieved and wish my successor well, as I will be working hard to ensure that it is our Labour candidate, Oliver Coppard, who again takes the reins in May. And again, Oliver Coppard, we've talked to him, well, not on this channel, but we've talked about him before on this channel. If you are in South Yorkshire, do vote for him. Like I say, he's a socialist. He wants some pretty socialist things, like some cooperative ownership about public transport, which will be massively beneficial in South Yorkshire, which Dan Jarvis kickstarted. So again, if he gets in, he's going to continue that. Already, by the way, the Conservative candidate has said he's going to put a stop to that. So, yeah. So we definitely need some good Labour continuity for South Yorkshire. So my successor's first days in the job will be probably markedly different from my own. I was the only Metro Mayor in the country to take office without a devolution deal in place. I had no powers and I had no money. I spent much of the first 2 years fighting hard to actually get the devolution deal over the line and unlock the powers and resources to drive our region forward. And now, having secured the devolution deal, again, that's something else, because obviously he was elected, but again, there was no devolution deal, as we said before. So the fact that Dan Jarvis has fought for so long to get that devolution deal over the line, we really have to sort of give him credit to getting that done. And of course, it was vital that we made the best use of every possible penny in the investment. Oh dear. And leveraging our gain share to create a at least 500 million renewal fund. This record investment into the South Yorkshire economy sat alongside the hundreds of millions of investment in vital projects throughout my term. And we will drive forward the economic renewal in the aftermath of COVID, help regenerate our high streets, urban centres, and build a stronger regional economy, and create and protect thousands of good jobs. But I have not focused, of course, on just building a bigger economy. I've made it my mission to build a better one too. That is why we have reformed the mayoral combined authorities procurement rules. This is, by the way, getting into paint your town red stuff, which we always talk about. So again, quite socialist. Rules for leveraging public funding to support public good, and again, backing the living wage and creating apprenticeships. And of course, I have launched the Ownership Hub, the first of its kind in the country, to provide practical support and guidance to business wanting to make the transition towards becoming worker-owned cooperatives. Yes, absolutely, 100% agree. And again, I want to really, really praise Dan Jarvis for doing that. We haven't talked about this, to be honest, enough, but the fact that we are sitting in South Yorkshire, the only place that has a hub dedicated for helping workers or business transforming over to become worker cooperative businesses, is absolutely fantastic and a wonderful move towards all this. And of course, the final piece in the jigsaw was creating a greener South Yorkshire to lead the way in tackling the climate emergency and accelerating our region's transition to net zero by 2040 at the very latest. There is a false perception that climate change is in the middle class hobby horse. It is not true. If your living room is underwater because of catastrophic flooding, or your energy bills are soaring because you live in a poorly insulated home, the climate emergency matters to you. That is why we've launched an innovative climate-wide flooding plan that will include to try and protect over 10,000 homes and at least 2,000 businesses, and invest over £85 million in active travel, and are working to try and retrofit homes to improve energy efficiency, cut bills for tens of thousands of residents currently in the grip of Boris Johnson's cost of living crisis. Again, absolutely fantastic move. Again, what you do not need the central government to do this. Sometimes you just need the local government here to say, okay, we've got this money. Let's have a look at what we can do with it. This is what's best for our region. Let's crack on and do it. And that's what Dan Jarvis has ultimately done in some of these cases. Like I say, the Ownership Hub, absolutely fantastic. The climate stuff he's done, fantastic. But again, they need more money. More money behind it, certainly from more funding from central government to really make it a success. And again, I am looking forward to certainly what Coppard has talked about. Hopefully, Dan Jarvis's successor has talked about changing, the travel and creating a cooperative travel company in South Yorkshire, which could bring massive changes to transport here. So I'm proud of delivering the big things I've set out to achieve, and I think we've shown that devolution works. What we need more, but that we need more of it so we can forge our destiny ourselves, and that our party must make the use of that fantastic Metro mayors who are now doing bold initiative things right across the country. And again, it's not just obviously Dan Jarvis here. Most of the Metro mayors are from Labour. That's and of course, that has sent shockwaves down most of, shall we say, the Conservative things. In fact, the only Metro mayor is in the Tees Valley, and even he only barely would hold on. And his big initiative was to essentially just wait for Boris Johnson to roll in and essentially go, here's a free port, and then he's pouring everything in to try and getting this free port up and running. But again, as we've discussed before, that free port is going to go and just suck away all the jobs. And of course, the opportunity to put our values into action every single day is the most important thing about serving in public life. And I am immensely grateful to the people of South Yorkshire for giving me this opportunity to serve them. It is in stark contrast with the 11 years, obviously, in opposition MPs, watching a succession of hopeless Tory governments wreak unspeakable damage to our country. Serving as mayor and not only and the only obviously Labour MP in office has obviously strengthened my resolve to help deliver transformative Labour local governments. That is why I'll be working with my hardest to try and secure. So overall, I do agree there with a lot of Dan Jarvis has said. I think a lot of his initiatives has been very good. And as I've said before, a lot of what he has done is in the book Paint Your Town Red, which is, again, socialist programs and policies that you can bring to your local government that will massively help your town. Like I say, the Preston model, which all this very much stuff is very much based on. Again, if you want to know more, I always encourage you. And again, I haven't got it. I never have it on me when I need it. The book, Paint Your Town Red, absolutely fantastic. Go and buy it and start hammering your local councillors and mayors and regional mayors and look for your Labour, local Labour councillors. Buy them the book, and send it to them. Say, this is what our town needs. And, I would hope that you follow that. And by the way, most Labour local councillors and MPs are following that Preston model. So overall, I think we've got some very, very good, leaders probably coming up from this local council level. And you've got to remember, everything that they've been doing and succeeding in has been incredibly socialist. So do not count out, as I always say to people who are somehow on the left and somehow disappointed with Labour, do not despair, because you need to pay attention probably to what's going on your local level, on your maybe regional level, because they are there. And they are going to be like the next lot and generation of MPs. And they will need eventually your support when the time comes. And then you just support now more than ever. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page. Oh dear, damn cough. And yeah, you know the drill by now. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.